Someone else is stealing you away from...
A couple of years ago, I hitched my way around the North Island with some great Kiwi truckers. Now, that trip left me longing to see a lot more of New Zealand. Behind me somewhere is the South Island. The locals call it the Mainland, and I guess they might just be right. From Picton all the way down to Invercargill, it's roughly 1,000 k's, but my biggest problem at the moment is trying to find my way across the ditch.
It's just after dawn on the docks in Wellington, and the diesel cowboys are on the move. The big rigs heading for the South Island load up an old Scottish rail ferry for the trip south, and that's just the kind of ride I need. Something like 28,000 trucks cross the strait every year. The Sylvan makes 2 return trips a day. She's a comfortable old home away from home for the drivers. The ship is one place truckers can get to wash their jeans, get a bunk bed, and have a square meal when they're a long way from home, which is exactly where I'm going. From some trucking contacts, I've heard a whisper about a holy grail of diesel heads. It's a collection of wonderfully restored old vehicles hidden in the deep south, a trucking museum rumoured to be the best in the world. The trip to the bottom of the South Island will take a few days. But the drivers are worth the time. They're the keepers of that great Kiwi tradition, rugged individuals with a heart of gold. Hopping off the truck ferry means finding my first ride is as easy as sticking up my thumb. Patrick's one of those guys who counts the miles and broken hearts and used up rubber. He's an owner-driver with a passion for good old American trucks. This one's called Little Wecker, but he's also the proud owner of a Mack and a Kenworth. Patrick crosses the strait every week, starting near Auckland and heading for Christchurch. There's 20 tonnes of produce in the trailer and his good old mate Willie chasing his tail. So we've got ourselves a convoy.
When do you reckon you first knew you wanted to drive a truck?
When I was 2. It was the first time I left home.
When you were 2?
Yeah. I had my toy truck in my hand. We were living in Kaiawa. I'm the eldest of 3 boys and 3 girls. I'm sort of the odd one out of my family, I suppose. And I had my truck, I was in my nappies, and we had a driveway about 2 kilometres long, and about 80 metres from the house, metal driveway used to go down and cross a little ford, a little creek, lovely little creek. Tea tree and bush around. Mum and Dad found me sitting in the middle of it playing with my truck.
Oh, my goodness me.
Yeah, that was the first time I left home.
And from model truck to the real thing, Patrick still likes to keep his toys working perfectly.
Something about driving trucks and that, and what we enjoy, what Willie enjoys, what every driver enjoys, what every driver's driver enjoys, is being good.
You know what you do?
Being good and tidy, you know, just being tidy. Like, see the white line? I try and sit an inch off that. When you're an inch off that, for kilometre after kilometre after kilometre, you're tidy. And aside from that, it feels good. Any sort of machinery feels good. And to me, these things are the ultimate in machinery. Check out State Highway 1 here, Lana. It's a historic bridge. Stop up, Willie. And here's State Highway 1, and 2 trucks can't fit on there. It's a historic bridge, and they don't want to do anything with it. Fine, just build it. Just
build another one. Yeah.
See the damage from the vehicles on the side here?
That's from trucks, isn't it?
Yep, you bet. See in the mirror? See in your mirror now, Lana?
Yeah.
Look how close we are. We have to pace these things inch perfect, be it at this speed or at 100 kilometres an hour, you know? Like...
That's amazing.
Now, in the movies, you see truckers with ridiculous nicknames spending half their life on the radio. That's not how they do it in the South Island.
Lana's just asking, do we spend much time on the radio? Sometimes, eh? Sometimes not.
It's not something that regularly abused. Yeah, they're more of a tool than a bloody toy.
Yeah, I think so. Saved my butt a few times over the years.
Yeah, they're a good tool in the right hands.
As in...
Hey, can you rephrase that?
Even on the radio, the one thing drivers will always talk about is the size of their engine.
That thing behind us is a V8 motor with the straight pipes. And it's a V8. It sounds really, really nice, yeah. This here's a 6-cylinder, big inline 6-cylinder. This has got more horsepower and more torque than that one, but they both all arse really well. That was the truck of the fleet before this come.
Having all that power under the bonnet means a 44-tonne truck takes a few metres to stop. Every truckie's nightmare is running over a car. Patrick's daughter and sister-in-law have been in fatal road accidents. And from the cab, Patrick's seen far too many near misses.
I've buried several members of my family and friends over the years from road crashes. Lana, I don't refer to them as accidents, right? An accident is described in the dictionary as unavoidable. But what's happening here is crashes, yeah? And crashes are human error, end of story.
So what are there some key signals that you're saying are things that cause these crashes?
I believe there's only three things, and it's ignorance, impatience, and inattention. And the inattention and impatience, that speaks for themselves. You know, they're very self-explanatory. Ignorant of the other road users. You know, it's so easily done, and we're guilty of it. And we've been doing this a long time.
There's a lot of obviously negative sides. When you're on the road that much, you're going to see negative things, but there must be some incredibly positive things that you get out of trucking as well.
Different times of the year is what I really like. I had a vision at my screen a while back, and I probably had 47 different colours of green in front of me. Yeah, really pretty. The sunsets, the dawns, autumn. The colours in autumn are just amazing.
Patrick spends so much time on the road, he's forgotten where home is. The closest thing he has to a base is his bunk on the ferry and the house truck he's planning to build. But the sacrifice doesn't usually worry him. He carries everything he needs in a sleeper cab.
I just live for the road, yeah. I've got my leathers in here, my jacket, my helmet, my boots.
Where's your bike?
I don't have one.
Oh, no. I thought you were going to say tucked in the boot.
No, that's in the house truck. No, I sold my last bike to help me buy my first truck.
Oh.
I don't know.
Do you get your leathers and your helmet on and just walk around the streets?
No, I actually lie in bed and stroke them.
Sympathising with yourself.
Yeah.
It's time to move on, time to get going. What lies ahead, I have no way of knowing. But under my feet, baby, the grass is growing. It's time to move on, time to get going.
Despite the loneliness, it's easy to see why Patrick loves driving this coast in different seasons. I've only been on the road for a day and I'm already hooked on trucks again. It's still a long way to find that secret museum in Southland. But the Kaikoura coast is one of the busiest pieces of road in the south. It can't be too hard to get another ride, can it?
It's time to move on, time to
On the coast, another day on the road with salt spray and the smell of diesel. Over 800 big rigs roll up and down the Kaikoura coast each week. And the drivers are pretty rugged individuals, so I'm not surprised to get a ride with a woman who learned to drive trucks so that she could drag her horses around.
Yeah, it's probably about 9 on the farm. Joking? No, one on the farm, so you just sort of have to drive them.
But Mandy isn't on the farm now, and State Highway 1 down here is no place for the faint-hearted. That tunnel doesn't look wide enough for a car, let alone a trailer full of frozen foods.
These are very small caves for very big trucks.
Yes, there's not a lot of room. We're up to maximum height, so there's not a hell of a lot of room in
So
there.
the cave height
It's the trailer height.
is the trailer height. How many inches or centimetres do you reckon you'll have spare?
About that much. I wouldn't like to put my fingers on top of the trailer, that's for sure.
Really?
No,
It's a bit scary.
it is a bit scary.
Is there a bit of a sisterhood amongst female truckies?
Well, there's not that really many down here. There's a couple of other ladies down here, but we don't really see one another. There's another lady that drives, she does the line haul up to Picton, but every now and then we pass one another and give each other a wave, but we don't really sit in the same place at the same time. And there's another lady that she's in Christchurch, and same thing, big wave, and she actually amazes me because her hair is always beautiful.
Perfectly manicured.
Yeah, I don't know how she does it. I'd love to be able to do it.
And are you passionate about your truck? A lot of the men tend to really kind of have bonded as one with their vehicles.
I must admit I was very ignorant when I got this one. Everyone was asking me how big it was, what size of motor and how many horsepower, and I had to ask the mechanic because I hadn't actually taken any notice. I was like, whoops, best I asked someone.
So do you know the details now?
Yeah, apparently it's 400 horse. C12 cat, 400 horse.
Sounds good enough.
Mandy's studying accounting, so she knows. 400 horsepower plus 3,500 Ks a week adds up to not much spare time.
You do a long day?
On the Christchurch run, yeah, we start about 10 in the morning and usually home about 10 at night, 10:30 at night.
So what do you do for fun?
For fun, I start on the Nelson run at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my God.
I get out of bed at 1 o'clock in the morning when we're on the Nelson run, and but we generally finished about 10 in the morning, so that's not so bad. So you have the whole day.
Well, when you're unconscious.
But it's quite hard to actually sort of join any sports or anything like that because they want a commitment and I can't give them a commitment because every second week I'm away. So and they don't want someone that says, well, yes, I can play this week but not next week. And so that's hard. I miss the sport and stuff like that.
What's the worst thing about driving trucks, do you think, for you?
Winter driving. I hate driving in the ice. I just absolutely hate it.
What is it that you hate?
Just like if you start to go, the sudden loss of control and you've got like the trailer behind you that'll come and get you every time. So heading for a bank and yeah, you've got to worry.
Ice on the roads and things like that?
Luckily, with the hours that we do this run, it's not too bad. I'm sort of home before it happens. But on the Nelson run last year, it was unreal, the ice. And that was pretty scary because I'd only been driving the truck for about 2 weeks. The last truck I was driving, and suddenly I was driving on all this ice and didn't do a lot for me.
So what's driving to you? Is it a job or is it, you know, is this your life? You want to drive trucks for the rest of your life?
No, I don't. I always said I wouldn't be 40 driving a truck, and I won't be 40 driving a truck. I'd like to have a motel or a camping ground or something like that, but financially, probably I'll be working for someone else in their motel or camping ground. The only thing I will have with wheels is the ride on a lawnmower. And
a really grunty one?
Yeah.
With 5 speeds.
Just be like that guy on the ad with Lotto, or you.
Well, don't be good.
Who says life on the road is hard? Mandy's taken me to Christchurch, and I could just about do with a cup of tea in the sun.
Things don't always go according to plan. The rain's coming down and I'm pretty keen to find my next ride. The good news is there's nothing quite like a bit of Cantabrian hospitality, and apparently this is the place to get it. Hi Jenny.
Hi Lana.
How are you?
Good, thanks.
All loaded up, I see?
Yes, I've just got to pull the curtains and then I'm going back to Firestone.
Now, Jenny is the woman with immaculate hair that Mandy was telling me about.
Right.
Jenny's a mother of 2 who kept her own girlhood dream a secret. So while Jenny was off learning to drive a truck, she let her family think she was studying at Polytech.
So did you tell anyone you're sitting your licence?
No. Only my best girlfriend at the time. She really was supportive and she was the only one I shared the secret. I didn't tell Todd or the kids or anyone.
What did your husband say when you came home and said, hi,
well,
honey?
I rang him at work and I said to him, he was in a meeting and I said, well, look, I'm really sorry, but this is, you know, I really need to speak to him. That's really important. And so they rushed away and got him and he came to the phone and I said, oh, well, I've just got my truck and trailer licence. He said, what? I said, I've just passed a truck and trailer licence, so it went through 100%. He just didn't believe me, and of course, I mean, they think I'm crazy. They've always thought, you know...
Who thinks you're crazy?
Everyone. The kids, and they all thought, you know, my mum and that. Mind you, my mother, see, I'll probably get it from her too, because she's always wanted to be a bus driver. Always wanted to drive. Now, that doesn't interest me, being a bus driver, but that's something my mother always wanted to be, and maybe I get it from her as well, I don't know.
Well, if the urge to drive comes from her mother, perhaps Jenny gets the pride in her appearance from the same place.
I want to talk about your face for a minute, because you're very attractive, but you're actually very feminine, and you obviously go to a lot of effort, you know. I know it shouldn't have any effect or anything, but you do obviously make an effort with your appearance, which is a rarity in truck drivers.
it's just this thing with women truck drivers, you know, they have this vision of us being great big butch things, and you know, I don't really want to do that. I don't want to come across as that, and I never have been. You never ever see me without the face on. I've always, as you see, I've got down here, I've got my lipstick. I carry, you know, separate lipsticks up here. I've got my emery board, and I have my hand cream and my sunblock, so it's a very feminine cab.
And a pink lunchbox to match.
Yeah, pink lunchbox, and in there it's fruit, all the good things. There's no meat pies and hot chips or anything like that. I don't do the truckies' lunch.
I noticed that you painted your nails.
Yeah, not special for this interview, because anyone will tell you that I do. Yeah, I have the lipstick and nail varnish on all the time. Yeah.
Always pink?
No, it's pink for summer.
Which is ironic considering the weather.
Yeah.
But pink nails are also good for waving at passing truckies. Because Jenny greets her fellow drivers with more style than the typical macho raise of the middle finger.
You don't do the big hand signal, you do lots of waves.
I do. I do lots of female waves, yes, because the other truck drivers have me on a bit about that, because they, you know, they just all like to do their male finger wave. And I said, no, don't bother, you know, like if you can't really give me a nice wave, don't worry, you know. And so I get really hard cases and have a lot of fun.
If you won lotto tonight,
yes,
what would you do?
I would buy myself a long-nosed Kenworth truck. And I'd probably paint it pink, although I'm probably getting too old for pink, but yeah, I'd buy a Kenworth truck and I'd have a flat deck on the back, and then I'd go and buy myself a black 911 Porsche, only because, like the Kenworth truck, that's my dream car. And then I'd go and shop, and park and shop and have coffees. And
you drive the truck or the Porsche?
Yeah, I drive the truck and park the Porsche on the back and have it in such a way that I could get it taken off. But no, I'd probably just be a drama queen and do that, you know?
Drama queen she may be, but yarning to Jenny isn't getting me any closer to my goal. So I'm off to get a lift with a brand new bread truck. In the world, and I'm heading west on one leg of the longest bread run in the country. The owner of the truck is Doug Marshall, and Doug loves his truck a lot.
If you had to have an analogy, a word that really encompassed what you thought your truck was, what would you call it?
Probably one sort of horny sort of beast. Are you allowed to say that?
Yeah, of course you're allowed to say that. Proud owner of one horny beast. Just don't say it when you're not in the truck, because people might get confused.
Well, that's too true. Once you get 600 horsepower working under your foot, it sort of bones you up a wee bit.
Yeah.
Especially when you get into the hill ranges, as we're starting to get into now.
Okay, now, this is a truck, a really big truck, overtaking another really big truck. I find that kind of scary. Do you get a bit of a hit when you do that sort of thing?
No, well, you've been doing it for so long, it's just part of the everyday sort of job. You don't think about those sort of things at all. You know, you come very close. A lot of times passing trucks, and you think about the trailers sort of giving a bit of a wobble now and then, but you just keep your foot down and don't look in the mirrors.
You're travelling the same route all the time. It must get a little bit monotonous.
I get that question a lot, you know, it must get boring, but actually this road is not really a boring road. It has its scenic views, and it's quite, you know, pretty coming up here every day, looking at the scenic views, especially up through the Lewis. And then winter time comes around, and that brings in a lot of changes to the road and to the scenery. It's actually very nice.
Are you an emotional man?
Oh, definitely. I break down and cry all the time.
When was the last time you cried?
I probably shed a tear when I saw the old truck go, because it was pretty faithful, the old truck that I just said goodbye to. Did 800,000 Ks in 3 years, and it was a good truck. And yeah, you sort of get stuck with trucks, you get emotional, tied up with your sort of trucks. Yeah, you spend a lot of time in them.
It's time to move on. It's time to get going. What lies ahead, I have nowhere to know.
Doug drops me off in Springs Junction. I'm not far from the mighty West Coast, but that's a long way from my truck museum in Southland. Still, there's always bound to be another driver headed my way. John Newton picks me up on his daily run from Greymouth, down the west coast and up the notorious Atera Gorge. He carries wood panels across Arthur's Pass and general freight back again. Now, John's last cab was dolled up with lace curtains, which says something about his attention to detail. Because John's other foible is bribing the road crews with magazines and chocolate biscuits. Come wintertime, they'll pay him back by clearing snow and laying grit over the pass so that John can get right through to Canterbury.
So what do you normally do with these guys? They get the chocolate bickies,
Yep.
the macaroons and the cameo.
No, just Brian will take both.
Sometimes John will stop for a cuppa with the road gang, but today we've got to keep going.
Who gets the cameo creams and who gets the macaroons?
Thank you. Oh, thank you very much.
No worries.
Thank you. Same to you.
You're lucky you got both packets today.
They get it every Friday afternoon. Don't miss them. No. I think I might get a couple of sour-looking faces if I missed out from there.
Oh, really?
It's something I started, so I, make the effort to keep it up. I don't mind.
Hey,
Yeah.
you look quite fit. You look pretty fit. You do a bit of working out?
I did, but this job now is limited to me. I used to do a lot of swimming, cycling.
The big downside of trucking is all that time sitting down. What makes it especially hard for John is that he could have been a professional referee instead.
Otherwise, I used to referee league and that, but now, like I said, I just work on Sundays. I don't get a chance to go and see much of the league anymore.
So underneath that mild-mannered exterior, you're a hardened league referee.
Oh, I was there 17 and a half years. There's a few people around here that sort of took a bit of a disliking to me after a while, but I mean, that's what you get for being one of those fellas out in the middle.
What does it take to make a good ref, do you reckon?
Plenty of dedication. I had to work hard when I first started, but got a few breaks. Ended up 42 rep games, 2 touchlines in the tests. So yeah, it was won an award in 1990 for the most improved referee in New Zealand, so I was quite chuffed about that.
You sit there screaming at the TV about what
I don't scream, but I criticise a little bit. I don't want you to call me an armchair critic, but I can see bits and pieces go on, and I think, oh yeah, that's gone against him. That's bits and pieces that you pick up.
Although Transit have spent $25 million straightening this highway, it's Mother Nature who still rules the road in the winter.
Basically, from here on in is where you can hit snow. You wouldn't think it. It's quite surprising how low it actually gets down through here. And you get a good fall here, good dump, and she'll leave 6-8 inches of snow on the road. Like, it won't stay for long. They sort of clear it off in a day and it thaws out and melts, but she can dump snow down this far. When the boys were building the viaduct, I talked to a couple of them one day and we had to stop up there, and I think they said it was down about -10. She was cold. Yeah, I mean, when you're getting down that low, that's getting really cold.
A lot of the gorge is still one lane.
Yep, we got the 1 lane section up here is getting built into a 2 lane section at the moment, and some of it's not even 1 lane.
Really?
Yeah, she's pretty narrow.
What sort of distance do you have on each side when you're going through those areas?
Sometimes none.
Really?
You're down to a couple of inches.
Got sparks flying.
With about 100-foot drop.
Oh.
Not quite the sparks flying, but you only have to be a couple of inches offline, and there's a couple of little kinks by the time your back wheels of your trailer go through it. They can be awfully close to touching.
And a wheel drifting offline could be John's last mistake. The drop into the river is huge. We're grinding up to the new viaduct on a steep 1 lane section with traffic lights at either end. There's nowhere for a truck to stop, and no way John could start again if he did.
What happens if you come up here and you meet a car coming the other way?
He's got to get out on the road.
Really? You make it
And I'll make him push. I'll push him.
Would you?
Because he's come through. I've got a green light and he's come through a red light. And quite often we'll come down at night and they'll be sitting down here and they get impatient and think, oh, no one's around.
Yeah.
I've come down through the red light and met them halfway here. I just keep butting up to them. They got to come back. They know it.
Yeah.
And they sit there and look at you, but they expect you to move over. No. Just move them out of the road.
But the finished roadworks are impressive. The new viaduct has made John's trip nearly a half hour faster than the old road up the mountain.
That's where what we call Devil's Elbow, just there. And she went up there to the left. And that's where the old zigzag, the old road went up there.
Oh, you'd be pretty happy that's off your course now.
Oh, yes. That's what you call a narrow, nasty piece of road up there. It's, it was a challenge, but in a way it's actually quite nice to be not on it anymore.
Luckily, the final haul up to Arthur's Pass is uneventful. And John has taken me back to Christchurch. He's hoping my next ride will get me going south again. In the meantime, I can't complain. The view is so good, I'm beginning to feel like I'm travelling through a scenic calendar.
It's time to move on. It's time to get going.
But this is a different beast. The crane truck is a big rig for a short guy named Dale. The beauty of a crane truck is that you can load it yourself, which Dale's been doing for quite a while, despite the occasional misadventure.
Excellent. And you've always been a crane truck driver?
I have, yeah. Right from the very start. Got a small crane truck and got bigger as the years got older.
Are you a natural at it?
No.
Any really good mistakes that you've made?
Good ones. Well, I left the boom up a wee bit high one day.
Yeah.
And caught a power line as I was going down the road.
You caught a power line with your boom?
Yeah, I just kind of drove out the building site and Ferry Road, which is quite busy, and
You forgot your boom was up?
the boom was just hanging up in the air just a wee bit. Caught the power line. That wasn't too bad though. When the power line came flashing across the cab, that wasn't that bad. It was, when I looked in the mirror and the lamppost was getting dragged along behind it, that got pretty embarrassing. Then the fire engines and the police and the power board, and yeah, it wasn't a great day. Everyone in buses kept looking at me as I was going past. I'd be head down pretty low by this stage though.
And what sort of freight do you take?
Oh, absolutely anything that can fit on the deck. Like small planes, helicopters, safes, yeah, all sorts of things, you know.
Best you get the prefab on, and I want to see if you can get it on straight, because it's on a bit of a nasty angle at the moment.
You want it straight across the deck or straight long ways on the deck?
Whatever's safe.
Now, the power pole disaster is Dale's only accident in 16 years, but I was staying well out of harm's way until he thought the building needed a shove.
Can I help?
You can.
What would you like me to do?
Run over there and hold the building. Wish I got you doing this. This is far better. And not too fast. That's enough.
Dale first got into trucking when he was a young lad, sitting proudly on his uncle's truck and waving madly at other drivers. And he's still a little kid showing off.
What's the idea behind a big pink cross?
We've got a dead man block over there, and I just thought you'd want to see if you can pick it up and put it onto the cross.
You'd like me to
pretty
pick it
simple.
up and put it on the cross?
You can use the crane, you don't have to do it by hand.
So I get to play with your tools?
Toys, yes.
Show me the way. Okay.
Right. So you've got up and down on the main boom.
You're not allowed to touch them. I'm going to do it all.
All right, up and down the main boom.
Yeah.
And make sure you don't tip the truck over, whatever you do. No sudden jerks.
Okay, do I pull it in?
Yep. Pull it up a wee bit high, get a wee bit higher off the ground. And pull it up on the third one.
Pull it in
a wee bit and then start bringing it around towards you.
Which one pulls it in? That one?
I thought you wanted to do it all yourself.
Okay.
Now, so now you've got to line it up. Oh, you're doing real well here. Two at once. I can't believe it. Oh, I mustn't just go home.
Any comments at this point?
I just go home. I think I'll just go home.
How's that looking?
Oh, it's
hang on.
lovely there.
Hang on, just over a little bit more. How do I get it?
I gather you just touch every button until you finally get to do what you want to do there.
Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
No, you've got to know what you're doing.
That's what all men do.
Well, so you get paid the big dollars.
But how do I make it go that way? No, don't touch
All right.
it. I'll find it.
See, here we go. See, women know everything.
Oh, no. Why is it coming back?
Because you're pulling the wrong levers. Now you can see why I get paid $10 an hour, can't you?
How's it looking?
It's looking pretty good.
How's that?
Oh.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, 8 out of 10.
No, it's not bad.
Well, I can't go all the way. There's boys at work have been upset. I'll let a girl do it right first time.
What's next?
What's next?
What's
Right,
next?
well,
What's next is hitting the road and making tracks towards that hidden truck collection I'm dying to look at. It's taken 5 days to get to Rakaya, where I score a ride with a big family firm. He'll take me across the Canterbury Plains and into North Otago. My driver's name is Slim, and it's good to be heading in the right direction again.
Well, I got this big rig rolling. She's a-heading on down the road. My destination is any place down the highways that I roam. I got 'em rolling. Yeah, the big wheels are rolling. And I'm pushing this old diesel with a smile. 'Cause I'm rolling in that green stuff every mile. I'm a big rig rolling man, and there ain't no place that I ain't been.
And down in North Otago, I finally find a truckie with a real romantic soul.
Can you sing for me?
Yes.
Can you?
I can yodel.
Can you yodel for me? If you yodel for me, I'll be so grateful.
Yodel, 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 yodel,
Peter McDowell is a Kiwi genius with plenty to sing about. From the outside, this looks like an ordinary lime spreader, but it's the lightest truck of its kind in the world. All trucks have a legal limit on their all-up weight, but because Peter's trucks are stripped down and rebuilt using lighter parts, they can haul much heavier loads, which means they could make a great deal of money for their owners. But making them has pushed Peter right into the red.
I started off as a farmer and a truck driver, working on a farm and a truck driver, and back to farming again. And people don't perceive me to be a truck builder or a trailer builder, so therefore I've had a tremendous amount of flack. And because I haven't had that recognition, it's been a very, very hard market to crack.
So if you were making a gross generalisation on the sort of money that New Zealand could profit,
Everything we eat and use in our homes is carded 3 to 5 times. So when you think about it that way, you know, just if we could get a system like this to excel through the country, it would just be so brilliant for the nation and the country that I love, and that's where my dreams lie. That actually one day I can achieve that.
now you've got multiple sclerosis.
That's
You've been afflicted with that for a long period of time. You've put an awful lot of time and money into making trucks, new trucks, and it's kind of affected probably your business.
Yeah.
A bit.
Yeah.
How's your family? Have they been supportive through the whole thing?
Yeah, very much so, and it's been tremendous to have family do that, because you know, I did put the family under strain, you know, because I'm following a dream through, but I'm proud of what I've done, and they're still with me, so they must be some way proud too. So in saying all that, I think that no matter what happens, we've done it together, and we've aimed for perfection, so yeah, I'm proud of that.
The other thing that he should be proud of is that Peter is the only trucker I've found in the whole South Island happy to admit to singing in the cab.
Oh, that's legendary. Fantastic. Fantastic.
All truck drivers like country music and yodeling.
Well, it's taken me the better part of a week, but I've finally made it into Otago. And lo and behold, discovered one of the best kept secrets of Dunedin. This is a panoramic view of the city, but only a couple of people know about it, so I thought I'd dig a little deeper.
The rock from Palmer's quarry is crushed into gravel for roads and building sites around the country. Each truckload weighs 20 tonnes. So I guess I'm lucky Tony's letting me drive.
How exciting.
Excellent.
Okay. In layman's terms, how much rock is getting moved per annum?
Well, we're talking about 6 tonne per person per year in New Zealand. So
every individual person?
Every person in New Zealand.
So I get my 6 tonnes a year, you get your 6 tonne?
Yeah, I certainly get mine.
This quarry is enormous. You don't really have any perception.
We've been digging it for 120 years. It's taken us a while to get it this big.
The quarry floor is already 50 metres below sea level. The trucks rumble up and down with 6 loads an hour, and that isn't as easy as it looks.
Just always take it quietly, Lana.
Okay.
You don't need
How far does she go before you change gear? Oh.
Got to double the clutch here. Just and when you always just take it quietly. They'll idle into everything.
Okay.
They're pretty relaxed, these trucks. Really good motors. There's a bit of a narrow road, this one, but don't worry about that.
Rolling downhill with 20 tonne in the boot, you don't want to let the truck get away on you. So each corner has an escape road, and the trucks are fitted with a magnetic system to slow them down without wearing out the brakes.
How can you put the retarders in?
It's a safety thing. It's a big long haul down there, about 1 kilometre downhill all the way, and we've got quite good loads on here. So if we don't use the brakes, then they stay right if we do need them in an emergency, so we use these retarders. It's also had quite a payoff in speed coming down the hill.
So the guys can't be boy racers in the quarry?
No.
No, you too far? Okay.
You just need to pull a bit more retarder on and...
Pull a bit more, it's on full.
You're a natural.
No, I think I might have to give up my job as a truck driver and maybe become someone that plays full-time in the sandpit.
Oh yeah, well we enjoy playing in the sandpit.
Down on the Taieri Plains, not far from where I think the classic truck collection is hidden, I get a ride in a long-nose Kenworth, just like the one Jenny wants to buy and paint pink. Somehow, I don't think Pete's a pink kind of guy, but he does offer to drop me off at Mataura, where the most famous South Island trucking family is based.
It's time to move on, time to get going.
The Tullocks were one of the first companies in New Zealand to import a truck and trailer unit back in the 40s. Until then, all trucks were basically a cab fixed to a flat deck. Now, Inky Tullock is the business brains behind the modern family fleet of over 150 rigs.
Now, your dad was a truck driver?
Not at all.
No?
When he came here, he caused a major sensation, if that's the right word, because he came in a shirt and tie and a pair of overalls in the days when real tough men only wore, I think, black singlets and shorts. And he had a major issue with the drivers here in 1945, 46, to get them to accept that he, although he hadn't driven a truck for 30 years, that he was going to run a successful trucking business.
Yeah, Tullock transport.
Well, Dad's sort of no longer a young chap, but he's still here every day. Puts in a very short day now, about 12 hours,
We'll
6 days a week. Send him home on Sundays.
Thanks very much.
45 years later, Max still grins when the checks come in and grimaces at the bills. And the office hasn't changed much either.
Well, no. This is the original depot in 1945 when Dad walked down the road and negotiated the deal with, I think it was the Osborns in those days. The house I lived in was just about 50 metres in the front of this office, and the yard was between where you're standing now and that house. I mean, in actual fact, when the truck started up, they were about 6 feet from my bedroom when I was a kid. So it was pretty hard not to actually get infected with petrol fumes in those days and diesels later on.
Oh, so you did grow up on the smell of diesel?
Absolutely. I was going to say doomed from the start, but it's been a wonderful life.
As a youth, Inky bolted off to university to study business management. After that, Tullocks would never be the same, or so he thought.
Some would say it's to get away from home, but in actual fact, I think there was some benefit in it. I did 3 years at Otago and learned a lot, I think, a lot about academics. Came home, thought it was time to revolutionise the family business, and that mean old dad of mine popped me out in trucks for a couple of years.
Did he?
Yeah, a bit cruel, but...
No easy ride, even though you're a son.
Only one truck down a gully and the odd bit of wool spread on the road, a bit of grain spilled here and there, but I learnt pretty quick.
Inky got his first taste of speed sitting on Mac's knee. He raced cars as a teenager, but when truck racing took off over the Tasman, Inky set his mechanics to work modifying a working Volvo for the track.
How fast can a racing truck go?
Well, we're governed to 160 kilometres an hour, theoretically, but with the right gearing and the right governors off the vehicle, so to speak, they're capable of up to about 220 k an hour.
How fast have you been?
Well, we've always never had the truck over 100 miles an hour because it's been electronically governed, so unless they give me a big switch to flash down, which they haven't been game to do yet. But no, I haven't been faster than that, but the trucks get there in about 11 or 12 seconds, so they're very rapid, very quick, and it's a real adrenaline buzz to actually be in one of the trucks when you come out of a corner and you nail it. They're just like a 737 taking off. Great sport.
Speaking of speed, nothing feels slower than being stuck in this sheep truck on a dusty Southland back road. The driver's name is Buzz, a local lad with a brand new Mercedes truck and not much of a social life. Still, he's got a trailer load of sheep, I suppose.
Is it a hard life being a truck driver?
You have the odd time, the hours are reasonably long, but for the likes, like I'm single, so it's not a real big toll on me, but the married guys, I think their wives find it a bit tough at times, not home a lot, and probably don't see a lot of them, but yeah, sort of, for me, I'm pretty right at the moment.
What about if you met someone, decided to settle down?
Oh, just take it as it comes, I suppose. I don't know if that'd happen or not.
But would it change your thoughts about your job? You know, would it?
I don't know. At the moment, I don't think it would, no. No, sort of quite happy just to carry on doing this at the moment anyway, yeah.
And are there plenty of young women around to entertain you?
No, no. Serious lapse of that.
Is there?
None at all. Yeah.
Really?
No.
Goodness, there's not much chop, is it?
Not really. No. No good at all.
For a studly young man like yourself?
Oh, thank you. Best compliment I've had.
What do you do when you get a weekend off?
Try and get out of bed. Try and get rid of a hangover. But no, I do a bit of hunting. Chase a few deer and that around, so there's always something to do down here, really.
Now, Buzz spends 10 or more hours a day on his own behind a steering wheel out of cell phone range. So when he receives a small sign of warmth and affection from his mates, he really takes it into his big Southland heart.
What a bunch of wankers.
Ah, finally I've found it! A breathtaking private collection of the most amazing trucks I have ever seen.
It's been a journey full of surprises, and today is definitely no different. I've been offered a unique opportunity to look at a private trucking collection. Now, this is the work of a very passionate man. Seeing all these old beauties together reinforces what everyone's been telling me. Trucking is an integral part of our history. It would be rare to find a collection this extensive anywhere in the world. And I think we're kind of lucky here in New Zealand that we've had a chance to see so many amazing brands. Some of these trucks, well, they were found in almost original condition. Most of them, though, they've been restored from next to nothing. This is how it can all begin, believe it or not. This is a chassis, a Stewart chassis from Cincinnati in Ohio. Now, the unique thing about this is it's probably the only one of its kind left in existence. And it's interesting because the people that made it way back somewhere between sort of 1912, 1916, were actually iron gate makers.
My love bigger than a Cadillac. I try to show it when you're driving me back. Your love for me got to be real.
This isn't just a truck. This is a work of art.
The stunning Art Deco tanker was built in 1941. It's one of 7 left in the world. And it took 4.5 years to get the Dodge airflow back into mint condition. You could say it's a real gem.
The South Island's been all that I was promised and a whole lot more. The people have been fantastic. The truck's just glorious. Well worth the wait if you ask me. Well, I'm just about right at the bottom of New Zealand. The big question is, where to from here? Oh, good timing. Oi! I wonder where he's off to.
So far as we know, neither Mandy nor Jenny have won lotto yet, so they're still on the road in their ordinary trucks. But Southland's truck racing businessman is in a winning frame. He's won 2 of the 3 championship races last month and currently leads the Super Truck Racing Series across the Tasman. The next round, next weekend. Well, next